So we just got back from 3 days at Disneyland. We did like a 3-day park hopper, bouncing back and forth between Disneyland proper and California Adventure. And one thing I realized is I am not a vlogger. And my son even reminded me that I am 45 years old and I got no business like talking to a camera walking around the parks.
Did you just say I'm too old for filming? You're never too old for filming.
But that's never really been my intent with the content that I make, with my background being in doing wedding videos, which, you're behind the camera filming other people. So that's kind of like my comfort zone. And when you're out in public, especially like in a really crowded place like Disneyland, you kind of fall back into your comfort zone. And I found myself like really enjoying just being behind the camera, filming, cinematic footage, if you will, capturing moments with my family. It dawned on me that I have no business trying to be like a Disney vlogger, Disney content creator. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy watching like other people's content, because when it comes to like Disney stuff that I consume on whether it's YouTube or Instagram, I love watching, fresh baked. David has it down to a science, and I can't thank him enough for all the information that he's given us over the years on how to make our park visits more efficient, more enjoyable, and everybody just has a better time because of the information that he puts out. And I also really enjoy Dallin's content, Offhand Disney, talking about the People Mover and wanting to bring it back, and the Haunted Mansion. I'm also not a historian or designer like Bricky, but I love watching Bricky's content. And when it comes to like social media, like Instagram, Kings of the Castle, I'm never gonna be as cool as those guys, or Tim Miles, or Disney Scoop Guy, I think is his name. Not to mention like Ordinary Adventures and Magic Journeys. Their content is like top notch as well. So with what I'm trying to do here, I'm not trying to be like them or do what they're doing. I'm trying to find my little space and figure out what kind of content I want to make. So I live about 2,500 miles away from the parks. We get there once, maybe twice a year. So when we're there, I really am making the most of my time with the footage I'm getting, the photos I'm taking, because I'm really trying to cherish those memories that we have, especially because my kids are young, and I want to like remember that as much as possible and film everything and take a lot of pictures. And those are my souvenirs. Like, my souvenirs are not purchased in a gift shop. They're on memory cards. So with that said about the creators that I admire, I hope there's still room for just one more, such as myself, that's interested in the cinematic aspect of Disneyland, because it's such an awesome place to film footage and take photos. And it really shows the attention to detail that the company puts into every little thing in the parks. And I love capturing that. And I hope that comes across in the videos that I put out, because I really try to emphasize all the work that the cast members put into making the park as awesome as it is. So that's my thing, is capturing cinematic content, taking photos in the parks, and helping others do the same. And I'll talk about gear a little bit in the incoming videos, about what I use to shoot videos and take photos and all that stuff, and settings if you're interested in that kind of thing. And just make it more accessible for you to use things other than your phone to capture memories in the parks. With that said, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but this past trip, this is the first time we got to see the Paint the Night Parade. So I did my best to film it in a way that would do it justice. And without any further ado, here is my presentation of the Paint the Night Parade at Disneyland. Thanks for watching. Malfunction.
Whoa.
from another galaxy. Buzz Lightyear!